Right, so why Zoom? Obviously now we don't have gatherings, we don't have travel, and we can only interact via online platforms at this point. At the moment, Zoom is just one of the easiest. It's free. It usually has a 40-minute time limit when you have meetings of more than one-to-one, but actually they've extended this at the moment. And so we are using it at the moment just because it is the most convenient. And there are so many ways of actually using it. You can use it for education. You can use it for one-on-one tuition, for product tutorials, for industry information sharing, staff meetings, and one-on-one. So you can do all the staff meetings that you were doing, and communicating with clients and socializing. So it's just a very, very handy platform. Okay. So what's important in the post-lockdown era? Firstly, learning new skills. We need to be able to help to provide the best service to clients. And to do that might include learning new skills and even expanding our skill portfolio. My feeling is that in today's new post-lockdown world, we're actually going to have a situation where people may be a little bit nervous of going out. They may want to limit their time out. And we might increasingly find, and this is just my view, that a hair salon needs to become more of a one-stop shop. And that people are going to look for additional services that they can do at the same time. And that's going to become quite important. So for instance, learning new skills in that regard, staying up to date on all rules and regulations, because we're in a changing landscape and we need to be sure that we comply with regulations while also being able to do business. And then of course, adapting the business to survive a new economy and society, which is going to be everyone's biggest challenge at the moment. Right, so the essential tools that you will need: sufficient bandwidth and speed, an affordable internet plan. And the nice thing is that these are very competitive and prices are going down. And it might be a good time for everybody to look around and to see, are you getting the best bandwidth? Are you getting the best speed? Are you getting the best price? Because interacting online is going to become more and more important. And the minute that you do interact or share via video, it really does also eat up your bandwidth. So you need to have that in mind. Then you need a backup plan in place, both a power backup and also an alternative source of connectivity. Because it may be that your power goes down and you want to host an important meeting. So you need a UPS, an alternative power supply. We need to become sort of equipped to navigate this new landscape in that way. Then the other thing that's quite important is a big screen, because receiving education on a phone is difficult. It really is. And when you're in a situation where you want to, when I'm just going to stop the share and let a few more people in. When you're in a situation where you want to actually perhaps work on a mannequin head or do work or be active while you are online, you're going to find that that a big screen is very helpful, and the phone can be a little bit of a too small space. And there are very many options that are possible there, whether it's just connecting your phone to a bigger screen or whether it's working off a PC or a laptop instead of a phone for certain things. But that's going to be important to do. Right, I'm going to go back to sharing the screen now. Right, and that's going to be something that everyone needs to work out for themselves, what works the best, because it's going to be something that will make your life much easier and it will allow you to actually get the most out of your education. So we need to look at those resources that are available. And I know that, that money is tight at the moment for everyone, but it's also a case of what you need to invest in that is really going to help you. And I think that is one of the things that we need to look at the most affordable way to make sure that we're all able to properly enjoy technology and to use it at the best possible size. Then, what you can do: check prices, check what you're paying for. This is a more competitive market. Ensure you're getting the best value, and invest in and set up your own home network so that you have got a good network that works for you, that is easy to view, that is user-friendly, and that is affordable. And then you will actually find it makes a massive difference in your life. Now, joining a meeting or webinar. Just a little bit of advice. Try and log in 10 minutes early in case you have difficulties. Mute yourself when you join unless you want to chat, because background noise can be quite intrusive, and not everyone knows to mute themselves, and you can often get a noise, an identified noise coming from somewhere. Be aware of what the video is recording while you wait. The flush of a toilet is a very distinctive sound, and I think by the time you've had a few Zoom seminars, you have probably heard it. So just be aware. You don't want to end up in an embarrassing situation, and mute your video. And if you kind of need to rush off and get a drink or go to the toilet, leave your device behind and don't take it with you. You can really miss out on those few words of wisdom rather than risk a horrendous moment. And then check your appearance. Are you the right size? Do you look professional? And that's quite important, especially if you are logging in for business purposes. But generally also, if you look right, it's all about communication. And if you look right and you're a comfortable size, you're in a comfortable place, you're well lit, you look good, it just makes it all a nicer experience. And so here are some tips for looking professional. Wear a nice top. Ensure your working area is well lit. Check your background and choose a place that has a good background. Be aware of what is in your background and what people may be seeing and looking at as they listen to the seminar. Now, it is possible to create backgrounds or to use the backgrounds that Zoom provides. Some computers are better at doing this than others. And generally speaking, if you have an older computer, it'll probably find it a bit difficult. It may ask you for a blank screen or a green screen. Some computers are good at it. So if you are lucky and you have a computer that can change your background easily, then you can experiment and set up yourself with a blank wall behind you, and you can have a fun branded background or anything else you please. There are some divine Star Wars backgrounds or all sorts of fun things that just make it a bit more interesting. And if you do plan on using a home background, look at what it is, what it says about you, what's there, and of course the lighting is very important. Then ideally the camera should be at about eye level or slightly higher. If the camera is way down low, it really gives an odd kind of appearance to you. And if you're just viewing, it's one thing, but if you're interacting in the meeting, you really don't want to interact from that perspective. Don't eat while on a video conference. And there are various settings that you can use. Ensure you're on high resolution and use the touch up my appearance button. We might as well make the most of ourselves. And of course, if it is a presentation, mute yourself. And then I just put a few photos of cats in here to show you what not to do and what to do. And this is really what not to do. You can see the camera is too low, the lighting is terrible. That's that Zoom cat is not coming across well. And then we have this one, and you don't want to be like this Zoom cat. You don't want this to be how people are seeing you. It really is awkward. Rather adjust your camera, adjust your chair, and get a more eye-level contact. Then we have this Zoom cat. Try and put yourself in the center of the screen. Don't be at the bottom of the screen peering up. It's not a good look, and it kind of is awkward. So don't be that cat, and don't be this cat. We see this cat quite often, and I think it's very easy to do, especially on a phone. You kind of end up too close to the screen, and then all you see is part of you and some hair and an eye and an ear and goodness knows what. And always check your appearance, and then once you know you're right, try and keep yourself in that situation. So don't be that cat, and don't be this cat. And even if you are using a big screen and you put your phone on top of it and you go sit on the couch, you're going to look like this cat, and you're going to be so far away, it will be like communicating with you from another country. So always ensure that your device is close enough to you to get the head and shoulders that is like a comfortable setup. Don't be that cat, and be this cat. You can see this is the perfect cat. This cat is nicely lit. It has a nice plain background. It's coming across nicely, and the right amount of the cat is in the frame. So this is the Zoom cat that you should aim to be. Then, watching without video is a very good option if people are looking to save on bandwidth, or if your signal is a little bit dodgy and you just want to try and save it a bit. And if you join a big conference, there's probably no reason for you to have video, and you can literally just turn it off. You can either just have a blank screen, as some people here are doing, or you can put onto your Zoom profile a logo or a photo of yourself and just have that as like a static image, which is also a nice way of doing things. Then you're showing who you are, but you're not showing that you're in your PJs and eating cereal while you watch. But if you want to speak at all, you will need to enable audio. And please ensure your camera is off. Cover it if needed. They can turn on at inopportune times, and you don't want necessarily to flaunt yourself in your PJs to the entire rest of the audience. So just be aware about watching, and choose what you want to do, whether you want to be an anonymous person watching from a blank screen, or whether you want to be a person interacting. And if you're interacting, then you make the most of it. Hosting a meeting. Now, there's a step-by-step process on Zoom to host a meeting. And obviously, if you want to make it a video conference, you must make sure you tick the video boxes. Zoom can record the conference for you, but if you choose this option, you must make sure there's space available, because recording video takes a massive amount of space. And you don't want to run out of space. You don't want to jam your phone up. You don't want to break your computer halfway through your conference because it's run on and because now you're out of storage space. So when you invite people to a Zoom meeting, what you do is you create the meeting, and you will then receive an invite which you can copy and you can send out to the people that you want to invite. And it's always a good idea to send a reminder on the morning of the conference, and also just re-include the link, just so that people's memories are jogged and so it's easily accessible. Then join the conference early, be ready to let people in. And as the meeting organizer, the power is in your hands to mute or unmute everybody. And usually 40 minutes are free, but at present, I'm sure due to this whole worldwide lockdown, Zoom is offering unlimited time for free, which is very, very nice. However, if you're doing something like a salon staff meeting and you run into that 40-minute limit, it's very easy. You just have to log back in. It's a little bit of an inconvenience, but it does mean that you can continue your meeting. You can still have it for free. You just have to take one extra step during the process. Then using multimedia, as we've been doing a little bit here. On a computer, Alt-Tab will switch you between fields. You can go through a document or a PowerPoint presentation, or even watch a video together. And what's nice about Zoom is that it makes it into an interactive process. And you can watch with friends, with colleagues, with your salon team, at the same time, and in a collaborative environment with the opportunity for discussion. And that really makes it a lot of fun. And it means that you just get a bit more value out of the whole process. And I'm going to stop the share again, and I'm then going to move to this video. And we'll just quickly share this, and I'll show you what I mean.
Ici et vous coupez ensuite. En fait, ceci. Mais ça ne me respecte archi pas. Regardez ça. C'est aucun. Non, mais là, il n'y a aucun respect.
So it makes that noise, but you shouldn't be scared. So it's basically, oh. So I take that back. I don't recommend this iron. Oh my god.
About 20 or longer, actually. My hair is burnt. Oh my god, this side is so much better. Oh my god. And you'll get that nice. What is this? God damn it. Oh my god! What? It's almost ready too. God damn it!
So just a bit of fun and a bit of entertainment there. You can see how I think a lot of us will be seeing those kind of things when people come back into the salon and experiencing those kind of things. So we might as well just get ready for them. So we're going to go back to our presentation now. So using multimedia, you can see how much fun it is. You can get a chance to watch stuff together, and what is also nice is the person who's sharing, what you could do, for instance, is you could watch through once, and then you could ask your team to use the wave sign or the thumbs up to pause the video if there's a place where you want to discuss something. So it actually means that you can get a lot out of watching an educational video with your team by switching from the video to multimedia, discussing the steps, discussing the techniques. Perhaps one person can work on a mannequin. So it really makes it kind of practically identical to watching in-salon training in a salon, and yet you're doing it from home. And so hopefully with the necessary equipment, we'll actually all be able to really enjoy this and get huge value from it, and get just as much out of the education and out of the interaction between other people who are experiencing the education as happened in a real life classroom environment. So then, finally, we'd like to offer Hairnews one-on-ones for everybody who's in this webinar, because everyone's device is different. So if you would like a personalized step-by-step tuition on using Zoom on your device, you can have a free 20-minute session with Brad, longer if needed, so that you can optimize Zoom for yourself and make sure that, that you can use it and that you're happy with everything you want to do. And Brad will basically set up a one-on-one Zoom meeting, and you can go through all the functionality. You can ask him questions, you can try, you can share videos, and this means that you can get the very, very most out of it. So please email brad@hairnews.co.za, and he will send you a Zoom invite for your own personal tutorial. I'm just going to, someone else is coming into the meeting a little tiny bit late. So I'm going to go back to the screen now, so that you can all take down Brad's email address and give him an email. He will set up a time, and then you can have a one-on-one tutorial. If you have any questions, if you're struggling with anything, if you're trying and failing to set up a meeting, if there's absolutely anything that you want to do that will help you use Zoom better for yourself and your team, then Brad is waiting, and that's our Hairnews present to you, and we hope that it's helpful. So if everyone's taken down the email address, I'm going to go back to the screen, and I'm going to see what questions we have. It seems like videos don't seem to share well. Did anyone else experience that? I'm going to unmute so we can all have a little chat now, and if it gets too noisy, we'll mute again. So what questions do people have? Did anyone else struggle with a video sharing? Is that perhaps a bandwidth issue, or is it something that we need to work on and work out how to do better?
We experience.
I'm gonna say, I have to study to do before I do my homework, and if I must study to do my homework.
Okay, I'm not quite hearing that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mute everyone again. Now, if you have a question, what I'd like you to do is unmute yourself and ask the question, and then mute yourself again. Then we'll hopefully have one person speaking at a time. It'll be easier. Okay, any questions? Anyone want to unmute yourself? The unmute yourself is on the lower left-hand corner of the screen, and there's also a very handy keyboard shortcut, which is Alt-A. So if you press Alt-A, you should find that you can unmute yourself. So let me unmute everyone. Then I'm going to mute everyone, but I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself. So now we can have one person at a time unmuting yourself and asking a question.
Okay. We've experienced in a lot of our webinars that we do well, that they are jumpy and the sound isn't always hand in hand with the video. So it does appear that generally it does, and it could be because of our bandwidth, well, not our bandwidth, but our signal in South Africa is weaker in some spots, stronger in others. So that's just my thoughts. So we sort of not doing videos really where possible. I don't know if that's what anyone else has experienced.
I love your background, by the way.
Thank you. It's off my laptop.
What I'm thinking is, what one could also do then is you could all have the same link, and you could start it at the same time, and mute yourselves while you watch. Then you're all watching the same video direct from your computer, which is possibly one step less, which will allow bandwidth to cope if it is a bit of a bandwidth scarce area. And then you still get the opportunity to interact and to be at the same place in the video, and to use the capability to pause it where you need to. That would also be probably a solution if that's a challenge. Yeah, so then you're using Zoom plus YouTube. But that's really when you start to need, you probably do start to need a laptop as opposed to a phone, just because it's getting a little more complicated and you're switching between platforms. And this is another reason why I feel that a laptop, or at the very least an iPad, is something that we need to invest in going forward into these times, because it's just going to allow you to have a bit more functionality in terms of what you're doing online, and make it all a bit easier. What other questions do we have?
Thank you.
Anyone want to ask anything else?
How many people can you join on Zoom or invite to join?
For a free package, you can invite up to 100 people. Then after that, there are payment options. I think the first tier is up to, I think up to 300, but you can increase it if you have one big event that you have more people invited to. So for your average salon and your average interaction with your clients, you're probably never going to need anything more than the free version. It's only if you really wanted to start having a big event or a major webinar that you look at uploading.
And then does the host pay for that?
Yes, yes. It's always free to participants, and the host will then upgrade to the relevant package. Like we've upgraded as Hairnews, we're on just the first tier, which means that we can offer up to 300 people with our little package. But then if we had a big webinar one day, then they just say, okay, we'll charge you this much extra for more people. So it's not necessary
As
for
a
that.
once-off, sorry.
Yes, as a once-off, yes. I think when you go up in terms of your package, you get a little bit of extra functionality, which again, as a salon where you're looking to gain education and interact with your clients, you probably don't really need. But if you were looking to do anything more, if you wanted to host a webinar and create someone new as the host, or have a branded background, then you kind of have to go up in the payment plans, and that would be the branded background for a waiting room, not the branded background for Zoom. Anyone can have a branded background if the computer can support it and you create it. So what you can do also is look and see if your computer can support one of the backgrounds that Zoom offers. And then if it can also support any other image you import into Zoom. And so this means that it gives you more choice in terms of your backgrounds. And it means that if you're hosting a salon event, you can use a beautiful photo of your salon as the background, or a logo, or anything else you please, or the Starship Enterprise. And it's just a bit more fun and creative. Right, is there any other questions? And let's have a little show of hands as to who's going to take Brad up on his tutorial. If you're going to, then give us a wave or a thumbs up. Ah, good, good, excellent. Excellent, I'm very glad. Please all do, because it can be, Brad's looking worried now. Be calm, Brad. It can really be up to your individual device how things work. And so if you take your chosen device and you go through it and let Brad talk you through, you're going to find that by the end of it, you're perfect on your device, which is after all what we all need. Let's see, we got someone saying the connectivity is very bad, so they're going to chat to Brad. How much is it for the first tier up on Zoom? It's in dollars, so it varies. But I think for a month subscription, it cost us about 200 or 300 Rand. But obviously, if the exchange rate calms down a little bit, that will be cheaper. And if it goes more crazy, it will be a little more expensive. But it was in that region, so quite an affordable amount. And I would definitely recommend, they do give you the option to pay annually. But again, with our exchange rate at the place it is at the moment, I think going monthly is more sensible, because it's likely that our exchange rate will stabilize and improve. And if you're paying all at once for a year, then you probably, although they say you're saving a little bit of money in paying for the year, you're probably actually going to waste more money in just because of the dollar rand exchange. So that's why we've also chosen to go month to month, in the hope that over the months it will actually become cheaper. Then let me see if we got any other messages, or I don't see anything else. Does anyone else have any more questions?
Yes. I really appreciate this. I think this is really, really cool. Zoom is obviously a fairly new platform for a lot of people. We've made use of it a lot daily since lockdown. And I've definitely learned a bit already now. And it's going to become a part of my day, I believe, quite a bit more, as with, just because I know then Shana and Les as well. So I think this has been really, really helpful, and I really, really appreciate it. And I definitely am going to take Brad up on his offer as well. I'm going to get his full 20 minutes. I'd like to master this, and I'd really like to make the best of this. So this is really great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for coming along. It's been so lovely to interact and to see so many lovely, friendly hairdresser faces, and and to feel like we're part of a community again. And I think it's a very valuable thing to do once in a while during these lonely times, for no other reason than that it gives you a sense of that everyone is pulling together in synergy. And so if we're all good, then I'm going to now close the webinar, and thank you all again for coming. I really appreciate it. It's been so much fun. Please take Brad up on his offer, and please, you have also got Belinda's email. You're welcome to email Belinda with any other questions you think of, and we will definitely address it on Hairnews or else in a subsequent webinar. So have a lovely day, everyone, and a lovely weekend. Okay, bye.